Days blurred together, inside the hospital walls. Maya learned the rhythm of the machines before her own heartbeat. Each beat meant survival, each silence a warning. She counted hours by oxygen numbers and nurse rotations. Morning light crept through blinds, but never reached her eyes. She sat by the incubator, whispering words Noah couldn't hear. His fingers were smaller than the tip of her thumb. Sometimes, she imagined he could understand her voice. Ethan worked double shifts, barely sleeping, always apologizing. Their savings vanished faster than breath in winter air. Bills stacked on the kitchen counter like quiet threats. Still, every evening he appeared with coffee and forced hope. They stopped talking about the nursery waiting back home. Dreams felt out of place among sterile white walls. Maya's life shrank to a single glass box. She memorized the color of every wire and tube. Nurses moved around her, gentle but efficient, never stopping. One of them, Clara, smiled behind her mask each morning. "She's the mother who never leaves," she told others softly. Maya didn't know if that was praise or pity. On day 60, Clara approached with cautious excitement. "His oxygen levels are holding steady," she said. Maya froze, afraid to believe it. "It means you might hold him tomorrow." The words felt unreal, like sunlight breaking through fog. That night, Maya didn't sleep. She sat in the family lounge, watching the clock. Every tick was a heartbeat she wished belonged to Noah. When morning came, her hands wouldn't stop shaking. The nurse placed the tiny bundle against her chest. Warmth spread through her body, slow and electric. Noah's heart raced like a hummingbird trapped in her palm. Then slowly, it matched her rhythm. For the first time in 2 months, she breathed freely. Ethan stood nearby, tears glistening in his tired eyes. "He knows you," he whispered, voice breaking. Maya nodded, afraid speaking would shatter the moment. She felt his fragile weight, lighter than a dream. Every rise and fall of his chest was a victory. She whispered promises only he could hear. "You're safe now. You're loved. The world outside can wait." For 3 hours, hope replaced fear inside her heart. She imagined birthdays, laughter, sunlight on his face. When the nurse finally took him back, Maya's arms ached. But her heart held onto the warmth. Later that night, she called Ethan. "He looked at me," she said, smiling through tears. "That's all I needed." He didn't answer for a moment. When he did, his voice was soft. "Then we keep fighting, Maya, one day at a time." She looked toward the NICU doors glowing in the dark. For the first time since Noah's birth, she believed it. They were not just surviving anymore. They were beginning to live. The phone rang just as Maya finished washing her hands. Her mother's voice spilled through the speaker, bright and sharp. "We're driving up next week to see the baby," she said. Maya's chest tightened before she could respond. "Mom, the NICU has strict rules. It's not a good time." "Nonsense," her mother interrupted, ignoring the tremor in her tone. "Your father already booked the hotel. Leo, coming too." The line went dead before Maya could say no. For days, she carried the dread like a stone in her chest. Ethan told her it would be fine, but even he sounded unsure. Her parents had never been gentle people. They believed control meant love, obedience meant respect. When the hospital doors slid open that Friday, her breath caught. Her father walked in first, tall and commanding in a gray suit. Her mother followed, perfume trailing like smoke. Leo trailed behind them, tapping on his phone without looking up. "So this is the famous hospital," her father said, unimpressed. His voice filled the sterile hallway like a sermon. "You look tired, Maya," her mother added with a frown. "Are they even taking care of you here?" Maya forced a smile and gestured toward the check-in desk. "You need to sanitize and remove jewelry before entering." Her father waved off the nurse like she was a child. "I've chaired hospital boards for years. I know the drill." The nurse's polite smile didn't reach her eyes. "2 minutes of scrubbing, sir. It's protocol." He sighed but complied, muttering about overregulation. Inside the NICU, the space shrank around their presence. Her father's cologne clashed with the clean antiseptic air. Leo glanced at the incubators with mild curiosity. "Which one's ours?" he asked, still scrolling. Maya pointed to Noah's tiny form beneath the glass. "He's smaller than I expected," Leo said flatly. Her mother gasped softly. "Oh, he's fragile." The word hung in the air like a blade. Ethan stood by the door, jaw clenched, watching silently. Her father circled the room, eyes scanning the equipment. "This place looks underfunded," he said, tugging at a cord. "Dad, don't," Maya started, but he wasn't listening. "That outlet's free," he said to Leo. "Plug your phone before the interview." The world collapsed in a heartbeat. Alarms screamed. Red lights flashed across Noah's monitor. Oxygen levels dropped like falling stars. Nurses stormed in, shouting orders Maya couldn't process. Her body froze as the color drained from Noah's lips. Ethan lunged forward, dragging her father back from the wall. "What did you do?" he shouted, voice cracking with fury. "I didn't know it was important," her father snapped, defensive. The doctor reconnected the cable, eyes cold with disbelief. "He just lost 4 days of progress," she said sharply. Maya couldn't breathe. She could only stare at the numbers climbing back, one by one. The sound of the monitors filled the silence like judgment. Her family stood frozen in shame, but it was too late. Something inside Maya shattered and would never be the same again. Night settled heavy over the hospital like a second skin. Maya sat in the hallway, staring at her trembling hands. Noah was alive, but the doctor's words echoed endlessly. 4 days of progress lost, a few more seconds and he'd be gone. Her father's voice had been defensive, almost irritated. "How was I supposed to know it mattered?" he said. The nurse's reply cut through the chaos like a knife. "It was labeled life support, sir." Now silence filled every corner of Maya's mind. Her phone buzzed with messages she didn't want to read. "Mom, everyone makes mistakes, don't exaggerate." "Dad, you're letting emotions cloud your judgment." "Leo, you're ruining my career over nothing." She turned the phone face down and stared at the floor. Ethan found her hours later, eyes sunken, uniform stained. "They're not sorry," she whispered, voice cracked and hollow. He knelt beside her, taking her hand. "They never will be," he said quietly, "but we can be done with them." The next morning, the hospital administrator called her in. "They want to file a formal report," he said carefully. "It's your right to press charges if you choose." Her stomach turned at the thought. Press charges against her own father. But when she looked through the glass at Noah fighting for air, the answer came. Yes. She signed the first document with a hand that barely shook. The hospital's risk management team took her statement. Nurse Clara and Dr. Avery stood as witnesses. Security reviewed the footage frame by frame. Her father, clearly visible, pulling the plug. Her brother kneeling to charge his phone. The truth was undeniable now. Still, her mother called every hour. "Maya, this could destroy your father's career." Her voice trembled, not from guilt but from fear of embarrassment. "He destroyed more than that," Maya said and hung up. Days passed in a blur of legal forms and sleepless nights. Ethan stayed by her side, his presence a steady heartbeat. One evening, as she sat by Noah's bed, Clara spoke softly. "You're doing the right thing," she said. "You're protecting him." Maya nodded, though her chest felt carved open. Later, she found herself in the hospital chapel again. Colored light from stained glass spilled across her lap. She whispered into the quiet, "Please let him live." Not to anyone in particular, just to the air that carried her pain. When she returned to Noah's room, his oxygen level had risen. A small miracle, but enough. She pressed her forehead to the glass and made a vow. No one would ever hurt her son again. Not her father. Not her mother. not anyone who treated his life as disposable. That night, she opened her laptop. The cursor blinked like a heartbeat on the empty screen. She typed one line, slow but steady. "My name is Maya Carter. I am filing for criminal negligence." Her hand stopped trembling. For the first time since Noah's birth, she felt strong. The investigation began before sunrise. Maya met with Ryan, the attorney Ethan had called. His office smelled of paper and quiet determination. "We'll need every record, every second of footage," he said. She handed him a flash drive from hospital security. The video showed it all with devastating clarity. Her father unplugging the outlet marked in red. Her brother kneeling beside him, phone glowing in his hand. Ryan watched silently, jaw tightening. "This isn't an accident," he said. "It's reckless endangerment." Maya nodded, fingers cold despite the heat of the room. She gathered every document, medical reports, witness notes, timelines. Each paper told the same story in a different language. Neglect, arrogance, consequences. Ethan joined her every night after work, sorting evidence. They spoke little, but shared the same exhausted resolve. One evening, Ryan looked up from the files. "Are you ready for what comes next?" She met his gaze without flinching. "I'm ready to protect my son." The formal charges were filed the next morning. Within hours, the news broke online. Hospital executive under investigation after NICU incident. Maya's phone erupted with calls from unknown numbers. Her mother's voice trembled when she finally answered. "Do you realize what you've done?" "Yes," Maya replied softly. "I saved my child." Her mother sobbed, accusing her of betrayal. Her father sent an email, cold, professional, signed with his title. "This can still be resolved privately." She deleted it without replying. Within 2 days, his hospital board suspended him. Old colleagues avoided his calls. The story spread to national outlets. "Infant nearly dies after life support unplugged by hospital administrator." Maya watched the segment in silence. Ethan sat beside her, his hand steady on hers. Her brother sent one final message. "You've destroyed our family over a stupid outlet." She didn't answer. Some families destroy themselves. By the end of the week, Ryan had built the case file. Hundreds of pages, organized with surgical precision. He slid the final folder toward her. "This is everything," he said. "Are you sure you want trial instead of settlement?" Maya looked at the photograph tucked inside the folder. Noah, eyes open, a tangle of wires around his chest. "I'm sure," she said. That night, she returned to the NICU and placed her hand on the glass. Noah's tiny body moved with each breath. Machines hummed softly around him. "Mommy's doing this for you," she whispered. Outside the room, reporters waited for a statement. Inside, only the rhythm of life mattered. When she finally walked past the cameras, her steps were steady. Her father had power once, but she had something stronger. Truth. And a reason to fight that no threat could silence. The court date arrived with the weight of years. Maya woke before dawn, staring at the gray ceiling. Noah's latest photo sat on her phone screen, his smile steady. Ethan brewed coffee in silence, his movement slow and precise. Neither of them spoke the word fear. Outside, reporters waited, cameras like hungry eyes. Ryan met them at the courthouse steps, calm and certain. "Let them record," he said quietly. "Truth needs light." Inside, the air smelled of wood polish and nerves. Her father sat at the defense table, smaller than she remembered. His suit was perfect, his expression rehearsed. Her mother sat behind him, pearls tight against her throat. When the footage played, no one moved. The red outlet, the warning label, the careless hand. The unplugging. The alarms. The chaos that followed. The courtroom filled with the echo of beeping monitors. Maya didn't cry. She simply watched her father destroy everything he claimed to protect. Ryan's voice broke the silence like a clean blade. This was not ignorance, it was indifference. The defense tried to twist the story into misunderstanding, but the evidence refused to bend. The doctor testified with trembling hands. The child's oxygen dropped below survival threshold, she said. He nearly died. Her father wouldn't look at her. When the judge denied the motion to dismiss, his shoulders sagged. Outside, the media swarmed again. "Do you have a statement, Mrs. Carter?" someone shouted. She held her son's photo up for the cameras. "This is my only statement," she said. That night, an envelope arrived by courier. A settlement offer, $500,000 for silence. Maya stared at the number until it blurred. Money could buy security, but not integrity. She tore the letter in half. The next morning, her parents appeared at the family lodging house. Her mother's smile trembled beneath its polish. "Think about Noah's future," she pleaded. Her father opened a folder, voice low and brittle. "We'll pay for everything, just end this." Maya lifted her phone and showed them the picture again. No tubes, no machines, just life. "He's breathing on his own now," she said softly. Her father's voice cracked with anger. "You've changed, Maya. You used to respect your family." She stood taller, her voice calm and final. "Peace built on silence isn't peace. It's surrender." Ethan's hand found her shoulder, grounding her like an anchor. "We're done," she said. "I'll see you in court." 3 days later. The verdict came down like a quiet storm. Guilty of reckless endangerment. 6 months in custody. Her father's name removed from every hospital board. Her mother wept in the hallway, clutching her pearls. Maya didn't stay to watch. She walked out into the sunlight, phone in hand. A message from the NICU blinked on her screen. "Noah stable, breathing strong." She smiled for the first time in months. Justice had found its voice, and it sounded like her son's steady breath. 5 years passed like pages turning in soft wind. Noah ran through the backyard, sunlight tangled in his hair. His laughter rang like music, free and unbroken. No wires, no machines, just a heartbeat strong and sure. Maya watched from the porch, camera in hand. Every click captured a miracle she once begged for. Ethan lifted their son high into the air, both laughing. The sound filled the space where fear used to live. Her photography business had grown from whispers of hope. Parents from the NICU came to her for portraits. "The one who understands," they called her. She wore that title like armor, proud and steady. Each photo told a story of survival, of second chances. Sometimes, she saw her own reflection in the mothers she met. The exhaustion, the love, the unspoken strength. Dr. Avery often visited, now head of the NICU unit. She would hand Maya coffee and updates on new families. "You taught us what fighting with grace looks like," she'd say. Maya smiled, humbled but silent. She didn't see herself as brave, only necessary. One afternoon, she spoke at the hospital's parent support group. Dozens of weary faces looked up at her. "The day Noah was born," she began softly, "they told me he had a 15% chance." A mother in the front row covered her mouth to hide a sob. "Yesterday, that same boy scored his first soccer goal," Maya said. Laughter rippled through tears in the quiet room. "This journey isn't measured in days," she continued. "It's measured in breaths, in ounces, in tiny victories." When the session ended, parents surrounded her with gratitude. She stayed until the last one left, offering words she once needed. Later, she returned home to find Noah wearing a toy stethoscope. "Checkup time, Mommy," he announced proudly. He pressed the plastic disc to her chest, eyes serious. "Beep, beep, beep. You're good," he declared with authority. Ethan laughed from the kitchen, flipping pancakes. Their home smelled of warmth and peace. After breakfast, Noah asked his question again. "Do I have other grandparents like my friend Tommy?" Maya paused, her heart tightening around old memories. Some people aren't safe to love us, she said gently. So we built a family that is. He nodded with a child's easy acceptance. Then he returned to his pancakes, unconcerned by the past. That night, when the house grew quiet, Maya opened her drawer. Inside lay a yellowed newspaper clipping. Former hospital executive sentenced for endangering infant. She read it once more, not with anger but closure. She thought of her parents, distant and silent now, of how love twisted by pride could destroy what mattered. She closed the drawer, locking the past where it belonged. In the next room, Noah giggled in his sleep. She whispered through the dark, "You're safe, my love." Outside, the moonlight touched the window like a blessing. Everything she lost had led her here. To this home. This peace. This promise that her son would never fight alone again. The backyard glowed with the light of birthday candles. Noah leaned forward, cheeks puffed, eyes full of joy. "Make a wish, sweetheart," Maya said, her voice soft. He blew them out in one long, triumphant breath. Cheers erupted from their circle of chosen family. Nurses, doctors, friends, they had all become home. Ethan raised his glass with a tired but happy grin. To the family we found, and the love that stayed. Laughter rippled under the fatting afternoon sky. Maya looked around, her heart swelling with quiet gratitude. Every face was a thread in the tapestry of survival. She caught Noah's gaze, saw the spark of wonder there. "Mommy," he whispered, "you always look happy now." She smiled, brushing a curl from his forehead. "That's because you're safe," she said simply. Later that night, when the guests were gone, she stood alone. The world outside hummed with soft summer air. No ghosts followed her anymore, only peace. She whispered into the stillness, "We made it." In the next room, Noah laughed in his dreams. And Maya finally believed, some endings are truly beginnings.